Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Toastmasters, nice little scene. Here we are for the final session. It is my pleasure to introduce your presenter, Alexandra Van Horn, for this session. She is also, if you did not know, an author. Yes, she is. And she has authored How to Get and Stay Happy, or 27 things that your best friend, your doctor, your therapist, or your mother probably won't tell you. She is also author of the Forgiveness Journal. She is a wellness coach and changes people's lives as a licensed massage therapist. You're taking names and numbers after this, right? You have business cards too, okay. So please join me, everybody, in welcoming Toastmaster Alexandra Van Horn as she helps you fast forward your growth in Toastmasters.
Toastmasters for all the frequent flyer miles. Who joined Toastmasters for all the free great food you get at your club meeting. Who joined Toastmasters to be the man or woman of their dreams. Me, you don't have to answer that. Why did you join Toastmasters?
Because I was a lawyer and I had to get up and speak, and I always found it very uncomfortable. So I wanted to be in an environment where it wasn't win or lose every time I spoke.
Who else who wants to share why they joined Toastmasters?
I joined Toastmasters because I wanted to be a paid public speaker, and I wanted to be excellent at it. And Toastmasters, I was told, guide and protect you through the process.
Very good. Who else wants to share why they joined Toastmasters? James in the back.
Yes, I joined Toastmasters because I'm an architect. I have to give presentations, and I was terrified, get so nervous before the presentation, so Toastmasters has helped me get over that.
Awesome. One more. Who else wants to share?
Well, different than most people, I've never been afraid of getting up in front of people. I used to conduct raffles at different sports bars out in California. I'm a very disorganized person, and I would get up and flub around. I mean, people would have fun listening to me, but it was very disorganized, didn't flow.
Got it. Well, you're all in the right place, obviously, for whatever reason you joined. Toastmasters is an awesome place. Obviously, we know to improve our public speaking skills. The Book of Lists lists speaking before groups of people is the #1 fear, followed by things like fear of heights, fear of bugs and spiders, fear of deep water. Number seven is fear of death. Which, you know what that means. More of us would rather be in the casket than delivering the eulogy. That's not my own, that's from Jay Leno. I will not take credit for that, but it's true. Most people, this is such a fearful thing for most people. So everybody, give yourself a round of applause. The brave. When I was a little girl, if I had a cut, my mother would put a Band-Aid on it, right? And when it was time for the Band-Aid to come off, whether I just did a new Band-Aid or the cut was done, I would start to peel it off slowly, and it would hurt. And what do you think Mom said? Anybody? Rip it off fast, right? If you rip it off fast, it doesn't hurt. You apply that to Toastmasters and you'll win. You apply it to Toastmasters and you'll win. I joined Toastmasters about 2 years ago. And I really, as you know, I was a massage therapist, and I would find myself being in the massage room, dark room, quiet, clients not talking, and I'm thinking, I'm going to go for anyway if I just keep doing this, and this is all I do. So I joined Toastmasters, and it was a wonderful change for my life. So what I want to share with you is my story about how I got 2 years ago from barely volunteering to stepping out and playing full out. I would find that I would put myself on the schedule to do a speech, and then fear would creep in. And I would take myself off the schedule, like 2 days before I think, I don't have time, I don't know what I'm going to say, I don't have time to prepare. Well, obviously life creeps in, and unless we make it a priority, there'll be lots of reasons to not get involved, lots of reasons to take ourselves off the schedule. So I was going along doing this, and I thought, this is it's not gonna work. If I keep this up, I'm never gonna get to where I want to be, which is I do wanna do, like Judith shared, she wants to get paid for public speaking. Well, that's what I wanna do. So I thought, well, this isn't gonna work. So I put myself on the schedule, and I realized that. I said, no matter what, I'm gonna speak this week, I'm not taking myself off. And in that speech, I decided that I was gonna challenge myself, and I was gonna challenge myself in front of the group so that they would hold me accountable. And we have a few witnesses in this room that were there when I said it. But I declared that I was gonna do 10 speeches in 10 weeks. Now, if you're in one club, that's not really realistic. But I happen to have joined 3 clubs, which made it entirely doable. I'll get into that in a little bit. My story today, my approach today is really two parallel tracks. One is the Toastmasters stuff, the stuff that you need to know to progress in Toastmasters. The other is the personal care stuff, without which if you don't do the personal care stuff, the Toastmaster stuff's gonna fall apart. Case in point, one time I was practicing my speech, and I forgot to eat breakfast. I forgot to eat breakfast. So what happened? I got up, ready to do my speech, and mine went blank. My metabolism went down. So I'm going to go into some of the things that we need to know to take care of our personal lives to make sure that we have what we need when we get up and participate in Toastmasters. First thing with Toastmasters, first and foremost, bring your competent leadership manual to every meeting. Do we have any brand new Toastmaster members in here? Okay, we've got some newbies. Great, wonderful. I was in Toastmasters for quite a while before I even realized that this had value. I was bringing my competent communicator manual all the time, and for some reason just totally ignored this. And then I saw Chairman Francisco filling hers out at one meeting, and I'm like, oh my God, I've been volunteering for all these things and I haven't been recording it or getting it approved or getting it acknowledged. There's a page in your competent leadership manual that has all of the different roles and all of the leadership skills that it supports. For example, Project 1 is listening. Project 2, critical thinking, giving feedback, time management, and it goes on, motivation, mentoring, team building. So there are so many building blocks in here that will help you with getting a full experience in Toastmasters. Yes, public speaking is certainly why we're here, but leadership is what gives you the confidence to get up and talk. So this is really great, helps you to really relate with your club, get involved with your club. So bring your competent leadership manual to every meeting and use it. When you're a timer, make sure you have somebody fill out. There's a section for every role. Here's speech evaluator. You have somebody evaluate you when you're evaluating a speech. And they just do a little check mark, maybe they put a comment, and you're getting credit for everything you participate in. So bring this with you. Ask a member in your club if you're not sure how this works. Talk to someone that you know has been around a while, and they'll guide you through it. But bring that to every meeting and use it. Next, Google and YouTube are your friends. Go online and look up, just type in Toastmasters International Speech Contest winners. You will get a whole listing of websites and YouTube videos. And I found one that I really was attracted to. This was an International Speech Contest winner from the year 2001. His name was Darren LaCroix. Darren LaCroix. Great. You can subscribe to his newsletter, probably some podcasts. I don't know if I was getting his podcast. I think just his newsletter, but I think he has podcasts as well. Great stuff. And from him, I learned 2 things that were really valuable that I didn't realize. One was, when I first joined, I didn't know you could be more than one club. I thought you're in a club, that's it, that's your club. But he mentioned in one of his recordings that his mentor had said, stage time, stage time, stage time. And you could be in more than one club. So I'm in 3 clubs. And that was the tip-off to me to get involved more. The other thing he said was, he had his mentor, and his mentor said, if you ever say no to stage time, you're going to have to find another mentor. Which means you have to move past your comfort zone. You have to move out, step out, because we all know the story about a comfort zone. Everything you want in life is just beyond your comfort zone. If you don't already have it, it's because you haven't stepped out to do something to make it happen. So it's all about stepping out beyond your comfort zone, which is when I declared 10 speeches in 10 weeks. I didn't know how I was going to accomplish it. I knew logistically it was possible because I was in 3 clubs at the time. So I knew logistically it would work. 10 speeches in 10 weeks. But I didn't really know how I was going to do it because prior to that I would be ruminating before every speech. You know, how am I going to do this? What am I going to speak about? What am I passionate about? This is crazy. They don't want to hear the same message every time. This is the only thing I'm passionate about. And when I did declare that, Toastmaster Ruth Beck, the very next day, I was having a conversation with her, and she shared something with me that was very valuable. At a prior TLI, another Toastmaster, Adele Alexander, had done a speech on how to prepare a speech in 45 minutes. Anybody want to know what she said? It helped me a lot. But the first thing she did was, you read whichever project is next for you, whatever project is next in the manual that you're going to work on. You read through it once. Then you read through it another time with a highlighter, highlighting things that catch your attention, as well as thinking about your life and what story from your life would apply to this particular project. So that's probably, we're talking 15 minutes to do that, 15, 20 minutes. Then, she said, you write an opening and memorize it. You write a closing and memorize it. And in between is your life story. And you know that. You don't have to memorize it. Now, one of the things that I discovered when I pushed myself to do the 10 speeches in 10 weeks is that I broke up my ego. I broke up my ego. I broke up my need for perfectionism, which I didn't even realize I had. I had this need for perfectionism, which is what kept me taking myself off the schedule prior to that. Oh, it's not good enough, I'm not going to what to say, you know, all that stuff. So it broke up my need for perfectionism. I wasn't worrying exactly about every word I was going to say. And it all started to flow. It's out of my life, I'm going to get through it. I'm definitely going to be evaluated. Some things are going to do okay, some things I'm going to be terrible at, and it's all going to come together because how do we get to Carnegie Hall?
Practice.
Practice, practice, practice. Or in Toastmasters, stage time, stage time, stage time. So join as many clubs as your schedule will allow, and again, you may have to push past your comfort zone. I have handouts for everyone at the end, but please take notes because I don't want to distract you with my handouts. So you learn to write a speech in 45 minutes. Push yourself past your comfort zone. A little tip for while you're rehearsing at home, dress the part. If you're doing it in your pajamas and robe, or you just came in from the garden and you're all muddy and dirty, it's not the same. I actually, most of the time, put on, sometimes I'll practice with my robe on, but then I make sure I practice a little bit while I'm dressed up, because it makes a difference. You've heard the expression, clothes make the person, right? It does make a difference. It's really putting on that professional feeling. Whatever your professional clothes are that you consider appropriate for your Toastmaster club, dress the part. Any questions on this portion so far, on the Toastmaster tips? Yes?
Darren LaCroix was someone who cracked me up in watching the YouTube video about how falling down and staying down, and he said, well, did I stay down long enough?
Yeah.
This was something that really got my attention. Are you able to share with us the 4 steps about speech prep from Darren LaCroix? I did see it at one point, and now I can't seem to find it. It was like a card, like a blue card that tells, yeah, I didn't mean to put you on the spot, but
No, that's okay.
I apologize.
I'm good with falling on my face.
Thank
now.
you,
Sorry.
thank you so much, but I'll find it.
Okay, yeah, no, I don't know that particularly, but he's good, he's very good. And he started out wanting to be a comedic speaker, and he said when he shared it with his parents, he got, again, science back, because apparently he wasn't naturally gifted to be funny, but he's been working at it, and he's doing great. So, moving on to personal care. Moving on to personal care. First of all, the most important thing I want to share with you, hydrate. Most people are so dehydrated. Most people are so dehydrated and don't even realize it. Staying hydrated is so important, particularly in Florida. The way to know if you're getting enough water, take your body weight, divide it by 2. And that's the appropriate number of ounces you should be drinking every day. So if you weigh 150, we're talking 75 ounces, or about a little over a half a gallon of water. At first, you're gonna be finding you're gonna be needing to run to the bathroom a lot. Your body gets used to it, and it's not quite so urgent all the time. But water is your friend, so make sure you stay hydrated. The second thing, as I mentioned earlier, is you wanna make sure that you're eating right. A former trainer I had said you make sure you eat small meals every 2 to 3 hours to keep your metabolism up. And I had shared that I wasn't losing the weight I wanted to lose. He said, you're not eating enough. I'm like, it's counterintuitive to what we think of. You think, well, the less I eat, the faster I'll lose weight. Not so. You want to keep your metabolism up. And that also is so important when you're going to be speaking. Like I shared before, you want to make sure that you've got enough calories running through that brain so that it's ready and on top of things when you need it to be. Another important thing. There were years, and this is not to say whether vegetarianism is right or wrong, there were years when I was a vegetarian, strict vegetarian. And then slowly I started to eat more animal protein. And I noticed that my energy level, my mental energy level was more stable when I had a lot more protein. So just as an FYI, wherever you are in your eating habits, just consider that protein is helpful. Good quality protein. Coconut oil. Has anybody heard anything about the craze about coconut oil? Very important. What makes coconut oil important? Does anybody want to share what makes it special that they know of?
I have no idea. I know a lot of nurses who said that their patients actually swish it around in their mouth for like 3 minutes after you brush your teeth in the morning. It takes all that bacteria out and that you're normally swallowing, spit it out, and they found that like, a lot of digestive issues are helped because of that.
Very cool. Very cool.
Cool.
It's supposed to help you lose weight. Yes, it does. Oh. Yes, it does. In fact, I've increased the amount, and I've noticed this has gone down a little bit, so yay, it does work.
You drink it?
Well, I'll give you a recipe in a second. You can use it for cooking. I cook all, if I'm making an omelet or vegetables, whatever. But the important thing that I want to get at is it's high in medium chain triglycerides. Medium chain triglycerides do not need bile to be digested. It goes right through the blood-brain barrier and feeds the brain. One of the latest things they've discovered with Alzheimer's and dementia is they believe it's caused by, it's like a diabetes of the brain. The brain isn't getting the nourishment it needs. And coconut oil, apparently right now, the latest research shows that it could be a major breakthrough in that. So, hey, I'm all for it. Medium chain triglycerides. Then Dr. Mercola, who people have heard of him, he's a holistic physician. He has a lot of information, and he shared that he recommends about 4 tablespoons a day. So I use 2 to 4. The coffee recipe. Do we have any coffee drinkers in the room? Okay. I saw this on Facebook about a week or 2 ago. Put about a teaspoon, tablespoon, whatever your comfort level is, with your coffee in your blender. Zip it up for a few seconds, pour it in your cup. Of course, you can't put too much in the blender because if it's hot coffee, the top will fly off, and you want it to be hot coffee to melt the oil. But it's like a cappuccino. It's nice and frothy, and you're getting your coconut oil too. So I started doing that. And that's when I noticed that my abdominal size had gone down, and I was like, yay! What else do I want to share with you? Another technique that is very helpful. So we talked about water, we talked about food, we talked about coconut oil. Relaxation. Relaxation. It's tricky when you're about to do a speech. You want a little bit of energy. You want a little bit of nervous energy because it comes across to the room as energy. If you're about to do a Toastmaster speech and you're feeling really calm that day, may not pull off as well. You do want a little bit of nervous energy. But there's a technique if you feel like you need to just balance yourself a little bit. It's called 4-7-8 breathing. This is a breathing technique. It's an old yogic technique, but Dr. Andrew Weil has a great video on this on the internet. And 4-7-8 is the ratio. 4 is the counts to inhale. 7 is the counts of holding your breath. And 8 is the counts of exhaling. So 4-7-8. 4 is inhale, 7 is hold, 8 is exhale. And the two benefits from this is that it relaxes you, and it also clears the mind. If you wake up in the middle of the night, do you have anybody that would love a tip on helping to deal with insomnia? 4, 7, 8 breathing. Laying in bed at 3 in the morning, go, okay, just remember 4, 7, 8 breathing. Probably won't get you through too many cycles and you'll be asleep again. That's really cool. So, let's do it together. We're going to inhale to a count of 4. We're going to hold it to a count of 7. We're going to exhale to a count of 8. But when you exhale, the recommendation is you put your tongue up to behind your teeth, the roof of your mouth, like the skin, where the skin comes behind your teeth, your 2 front teeth. And you're going to exhale, and it's going to be an audible sound when you're exhaling. Okay, so we're going to inhale. Again, he recommends 4 times like that. He recommends morning and night. Anybody want to report on how they feel after trying it?
Relax.
Another bit of information that is so cool. It's really exciting. Say exciting.
Exciting!
A friend of mine sent me this video. It's a video of a TED Talk. A woman named Amy Cuddy. Has anybody heard of her? Very cool. She's from Harvard. And she expresses in the video how we know how the mind affects the body. We think relaxing thoughts, our bodies feel great. We think nervous thoughts, and we tense up. But her question was, can our body affect our mind? Can our body affect our mind? So a study was done. She conducted this study where they had people come in, they didn't know what the study was about, but they had a choice of taking powerful stances, or how many people see the people running across the finish line and they're like this, right? Or they've just done a touchdown, or whatever it is. And it seems to be that particular stance is across the board. Even people that were blind from birth, when they have a victory, they do the same thing. It's not like they've seen other people do it. So this is a powerful stance. What was discovered with the test that she ran was after she had people do this or this, they had an opportunity. They had some that were sitting positions, like they'd be leaning back in their chair like this. After holding that pose for 2 minutes, they did a saliva test. Their testosterone had gone up, which is your power hormone, and the cortisol levels, which is your stress hormone, dropped down. So what does that mean for us as Toastmasters?
We should be walking around our house.
Exactly! 2 minutes, she recommended 2 minutes. So you're about to go to a Toastmaster speech, maybe you've just gotten to the meeting and they're just getting started. Go into the restroom, go to the booth, whatever it takes, whatever pose it will be your power stance, because it actually boosts your testosterone. And we all have it, not just men and women. We have testosterone. Men have more, but it's still our power hormone. And our cortisol goes down, which gives us much more ability to function under stress. And our cortisol levels are down. It's a healthier way to be. Our cortisol is our fight or flight hormone. So when the saber-toothed tiger was chasing after you way back when, you needed that fight or flight response to get out of the way. Well, we live in a society where there's a lot of virtual saber-toothed tigers that we're always worrying about or working around. So this kind of a stance can help you with all kinds of going for a job, with a family member. Go into private, do your power stance, 2 minutes, and then come out and you'll be more collected and powerful. Okay, any other questions? Any questions about any of the things I covered? Food, the breathing, the water, the posture?
Alexander?
Yes?
It's actually very interesting that you said that, because the fight or flight is also why when we're preparing to speak, we start shorter breaths. If you notice, you tie that in, that's excellent, because we start breathing shorter, like when you're nervous and you're getting up to speak, that is that fight or flight, because when you're running from the saber-toothed tiger, You know, hey, wait a minute, hold on, I gotta take a few breaths here, hold on, no, you gotta go. But when you do the breathing and you do that stance, it relaxes you, it gets you prepared, that's very nice to what you type that in.
Thank you for your comments.
That's why I'm sitting here.
Anyone else? Any other thoughts, questions, comments? Yes.
So how did you feel about yourself after you completed 10 speeches in the
Really good, really good. And it was great, because I had announced it to the club, I had that accountability factor helping me to stay on track. I mean, it wasn't like they said, where are you with it, where are you with it? But because I had announced it, I wanted to make sure I followed through it. I really did feel good about myself. It really helped.
How did you manage with the stress?
How did I manage with the stress? A lot of what I shared with you, the breathing, the water. I also, on the spiritual path, so prayer and meditation, that helps me a lot. I turn it over before I start. Okay, help me out here, I need you. And that makes a big difference. Yes.
So have you set goals for yourself for your CL and your bronze?
I am on my last project for my CL, which is mentoring, and I have a brand new mentee I'm working with, so I'm excited about that. And I do have my bronze. I just got my advanced communicator bronze, I guess a month or so ago.
So what's your goal for your silver?
I don't know yet, but thank you for challenging me. Yes.
I apologize for entering the classroom a bit late, selling tickets, but the main question is,
Okay.
how long have you been with Toastmasters?
2 years. In fact, I was looking through my checkbook last night. When was the first check I wrote? It was June of 2012. So.
Just in case I missed it, I just want to
Yes, yes.
bring
2
that
years.
up. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you for asking. 2 years. Yes.
Hey, Alexandra.
Hi, how are you?
Oh, good. I know you to be a great massage therapist and body work, et cetera. So my question is, do you have any suggestions for folks that are normally a quiet type of voice for projecting their voices?
Well, again, practice, practice, practice. Because one of the women in my home club, the first club I joined, which is Palm Beach Noon, she's a speech coach and a singing coach. And she was always hounding me, can't hear you, can't hear you. Diana Loy, you may have seen her.
Oh, yeah, great.
Can't hear you, speak up, speak up. So that's one way, is just seeing the people in the back of the room go like this. And practice, practice, practice. Yeah. I know from raising kids, my sons are all grown now, and I'm a single parent, my voice had to get very deep to be heard. So I know it's in there. I know it's in there. Yes.
I have another suggestion. I meet at 2 clubs at Denny's in Fort Lauderdale, Caroline, Broward Bilingual and Early Birds. And one of the ways, if you want to project better, is come there and try to speak over the kitchen workers who are yelling and
Yes.
talking in the kitchen and the plates and everyone's sort of blue,
Right?
You really learn.
And Palm Beach Noon, we have a loud air conditioning unit. So again, we have to project just to be heard.
Diving into the other side of the world,
Uh-huh.
for example, like you said, prayer helps you. We
Yes.
are all connected to something that we feel comfortable. I mean, as children, the first word out of your mouth is mama. It is someone close to us.
Yeah.
Without even speaking, what actually, or how can you share with us, helps you? Is it meditation? Is it prayer? Is it martial arts? What keeps you or takes you to that point to make you do it?
It's definitely prayer and meditation, both.
What meditation, what form can you use?
I just kind of get quiet. Like I start with a prayer just saying, help me. My favorite is Jesus, so that's where I go. But I ask, I just say, God, will you help me, Holy Spirit, help me today. And then I get quiet and just try to stay quiet as possible and just let myself be filled, however that works. And sometimes it doesn't take sitting a long time. It's just inviting Holy Spirit. It's like, okay, I'm doing this. Are you with me? Like that.
So connecting would be one way.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Thank you, thank you.
Jack Daniels helps a lot.
Yeah. Classic Cabernet, whatever works, right?
This is why we are so different.
Yeah, right.
Right?
There you go.
Whatever it is, right? Anyone else? Any other questions?
I have a little,
James in the back. Okay.
I have a little, I have a little challenge in my mind. I'm challenging my knowledge from the past as it relates to your coconut oil suggestion. In the past, I'm from Jamaica, by the way, so we use a lot of coconut oil. I used to grate the coconut, squeeze it, make the oil, among other things that we use coconut for in Jamaica. And the coconut oil, it goes to seed very easily. And it was told that the oil that sleeps is not the good oil for you.
What does that mean?
Hence, when you put it and it gets clustered, it comes together and kind of
Solidifies.
dry, the solid that
Okay.
becomes hard, solid that everything, and it's not good for your heart, da 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 da. Therefore, it was cut back or cut down and all of that. Now I'm hearing, I heard it before from one of my daughters, I'm hearing it from you now that it's the best there is. How do I work this, with this
That's where I
challenge
resort
going
to
on?
prayer. Because I know, I had heard the same thing, saturated fat, it clogs your artery, you know, and we all know that one day we hear something great in the news about what's healthy, good for us, and then all of a sudden we hear something that contradicts it. So we all have to find our own balance. I know one of the best things, of course, is remembering moderation. There is no one thing that's going to guarantee us to live forever, et cetera, you know, unless our spiritual beliefs take us there. But you have to just see what feels right to you. Right now, I really believe that's feeding my mind. I have a mom who's in a memory care center up in New Jersey, so you can imagine that probably weighs on me. So I do what I can to preserve what I have as long as I have it. Hopefully it'll last a long time. James?
Yeah, I just wanted to reiterate what you said about preparing for the speeches, because that's my biggest problem, is I spend 3-4 days, you know, just worried, researching, getting all this information, way too much information, and then at the last minute you have to give the speech, so there's that anxiety. So what you said about giving up the perfectionism and what you did, I think is a great exercise. And you mentioned a lady who kind of taught that.
Adele Alexander.
Do you have that in your handout?
No, I actually don't have her name in the handout. I do have Learn to Write a Speech in 45 Minutes. I did forget to put
Okay.
her name there.
All
Adele
right.
Alexander.
All right.
And, that was definitely
If you give me your contact information, I'll get you hers.
Okay, great.
Great.
Thank you.
Gary.
Sure.
Any other questions or thoughts?
May I add something to preparing your body, your physiology, like you were saying? How many of you actually think about the way you'd like to look and stand before you give a speech? Or are you actually thinking, I hope I don't, get up there and jitter or forget something? Because as soon as you get up there, you're probably going to do that.
Right, thank you so much. That brings me to one of the other points I want to make, which is not in my handout. Visualization. A lot of star athletes do that. They visualize themselves making the winning point, the touchdown, the home run, whatever it is that their field is. So I want to take you through, how are you going to have about 5 minutes?
You've got about 10 more minutes
Okay,
left, so
awesome.
you're good.
Great. So I want to take you through a little visualization. I'm going to ask you to just get comfortable in your seat. You don't have to take a power stance now. Just get comfortable in your seat. Close your eyes. Take some nice, slow, deep breaths. Doesn't have to be the 4, 7, 8 now. Just it's the morning of your speech day. You've prepared, you have your thoughts organized, you've rested properly, you've been hydrating all along. You've been eating right, you've gotten into the habit of eating every 2 to 3 hours, quality protein, quality snacks. You're practicing your breathing to help you relax. The morning of your speech, you rehearsed, you dressed the part while you were rehearsing. And you see yourself getting ready, you leave your house well on time, you have whatever notes you need, if you memorized it, you know you've got it together, and you know any thoughts about, I don't know what I'm going to say, are not real thoughts. The thoughts that are real are the ones that you know inside what you want to tell other people. So you're now at your meeting, You see the announcer announcing you. You begin to walk up, you gracefully shake the announcer's hand. You turn to your audience with a wonderful, warm, appropriate opening. You speak to them from your heart because you're really there because you have something that you want to share with other people. You know what you have to share makes a difference. It serves other people. It feeds their spirit, their life in some way. Your story makes a difference. So you know you have this personal power. You deliver your speech seamlessly. There's laughter at appropriate points. People are taking notes. It's a good speech. There's areas where you know you're going to improve. That's okay. You complete your speech with a great closing. Shake the announcer's hand, and you walk back to your seat, and there's great applause. You bring your attention back to this room. You can do that visualization every time before a speech. I have notes to hand out to you, but before we go any further, I want to know who. Yay, we have somebody. What would you like to commit? Among friends.
I would like to commit to, I just joined, our club just formed in July. I would like to get my first 2 manuals completed before January.
Awesome. And I have a gift for the first person.
Wow.
There's another TLI manual.
You're welcome.
That was the forgiveness.
And I only have one book, but who else wants to commit to something?
Which club is that?
I just got my CL due, and I want to commit to, I steered away from speeches. I just gave my icebreaker, I never did anything else. I did all the roles, I've done everything you could possibly do for the club, but I want to commit to have all the rest of my speeches done by April.
Awesome, awesome. Woo!
I would like to commit to complete the CC manual by January 2015, as I am working on speech number 4.
Excellent, excellent. Who else wants to step outside their comfort zone and make life happen faster? In the back.
I would like to commit to joining 2 to 3 clubs a week, to being part of 2 to 3 clubs a week.
Awesome, excellent. Anyone else?
I would like to recruit. Are there anyone in the room who would like a mentor? I am available and ready to mentor. That's my point.
Excellent. Anyone else? Feel free at your next club meeting, as part of your participation, to declare a commitment that takes you outside your comfort zone. Because you know that's where the growth is. Carrie?
I've spoken with Doris about this, but I want to publicly commit to getting the, was it CL?
Competent leader?
Competent Leader Manual completed within 3 months.
Awesome.
That's hard.
Who else? Anyone else? So remember, all the good stuff that you want is outside your comfort zone. If you don't already have it, if you're not feeling a little uncomfortable, there's a good chance you're not growing. So just play with that a little bit. So where can I push myself beyond my comfort zone to get what I want in life? So everything you want that you don't have requires pushing forward outside your comfort zone. You've been an awesome audience. Thank you so much. I have handouts for everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Before everybody
Have a
leaves, 2 things. First of all, when you are done here, you will go back into the main cafeteria area for the closing meeting. in Alexander. And I gotta take my power stance. I would like, on behalf of everybody sitting down here that had the pleasure of listening to you speak, hand you this certificate for helping us complete this workshop and making CLI so interesting.
Thank you.
Is there a sign-in sheet to get credit for this? Do we?
Let me speak to that. You only need credit for those things that are part of the officers program.
What's that?
You only need credit if you're part of the officer training
I see.
curriculum.
For your particular.
If anybody hasn't bought the raffle tickets yet, we have raffle tickets here, so feel free.
Anybody wants raffle tickets, just raise your hand and I'll come to you.